Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into another edition of COVID and You, where we try and break down the various aspects related to COVID. Now, today we are going to talk about an important aspect, and specifically the COVID, the Delta plus mutant that we are going to talk about today. And joining me is Dr. Pragya Yadav from the ICMR National Institute of Virology to talk about the various aspects of this new variant at this point in time. How worried should we really be, and what do we know about the Delta plus variant at this point? Because remember, it was the Delta variant that was largely responsible for the second wave. Now the Delta plus variant is a mutation of that Delta variant. Dr. Pragya, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of COVID and News. So that's really my first question. How worried would you be about this particular mutation, this variant, and what do we know about it so far?
So thank you, Ms. Raja, for inviting me on the show. As you already said that Delta variant was a cause of concern, and it was declared by World Health Organization as a variant of concern. Recently, I think within few days, we could start hearing about this new variant, which is called Delta plus, because existing Delta variant has one additional mutant, which is called K4179N. And why people are worried about it, because this particular mutation was present in our Beta variant, which is originated from South Africa. And it was recorded that particular South Africa variants were not working against many vaccines. And those even work, they showed a reduced neutralization capacity, and few of them still work very well and have been used. So that was the main concern for Delta plus. But I just want to tell you, because of the existing genome surveillance, which 10 major institutions of the country is doing through the INSACOG platform, has been very actively could detect this variant. And now today we could see in all over the news that in 3 different states it is already detected, including Maharashtra, Kerala, and Madhya Pradesh. With this, many other laboratories are working on different aspects of COVID cases. For example, breakthrough, where people has got 2 doses of vaccine and it is being monitored that how they are getting infected, and the reinfection cases, and many more such kind of things. So I don't think we should worry much, because everybody is alerted. Everybody is monitoring very carefully these variant, and that is why in a very early phase, which did not happen with the second wave, but now we could understand where these mutants are there. And ministry has already sent advisory yesterday and told these 3 states to keep alert and do the containment of the affected area, and also put those patients under the isolation. And I think it is quite a good response from the public health perspective. Everybody is quietly engaged and working very fast to detect more and more variant if it is present in other states, which must be already in circulation. But the good thing is that the number is very low still, and we are alerted. So I think it should be taken care quickly by each state, and by following our routine practices like vaccination, social distancing, and mask practices, we should not fall onto the same kind of situation which we have just recovering from the second wave. So I think we are quite okay at the moment as a country.
Yes. All right. Now, if we were to compare the Delta plus variant to the Delta variant, what do we know about that, especially when you talk about the transmissibility factor, or how prone it is one would be to hospitalization? If you compare the two, what do we know?
So as I said, that number of the cases which has been detected are very low, and nobody has so far clinically detailed that if these patient has any severe pathogenicity or severely sickness is increased in these patients. So we have to wait for the right information to come across. But we have to remember that as we seen in this second wave, the number of cases surged very grossly in our whole country. So the Delta plus definitely has that characteristic of high transmissibility. So that we have to remember. Second thing which we saw with the Delta, that almost every vaccine showed reduction in their neutralization capacity. Even including Moderna, Pfizer, Covishield, and Covaxin. But the good point was that the detection was not so bad that it cannot protection can still work with the existing virus variant and with the vaccines. So I think we are still in good situation, but definitely we have to raise the data. We have to test the existing vaccine to see more in the practically how it is going to behave.
Yes. So just taking that point forward, obviously, this is still in the very early stages, like you said, and much more data is needed for this variant. Do you think that enough of genome sequencing is being done, or does it need to be ramped up? And to what extent, perhaps, it then needs to be ramped up? What do we need to do now?
I think everybody is trying their best, but you have to understand one thing, that most of the laboratories who do genome sequencing also engage with the diagnostic. So they are overburdened in the last 1.5 years, but still everybody is trying to do their best in genome sequencing. And with the time, I think the system and everything is improved, but there is a competition of the reagents and other material also. But I think so far, the early detection of this data plus itself speak that we are on quite good situation at the moment.
Okay. The other part also, it was just recently, termed as a variant of concern as opposed to a variant of interest earlier. What has been the trigger point to make that change?
So last year we did a study where we have a study from January to August, the virus which was circulating in India in different parts. And we did not see this kind of variants, but there was definitely mutations, and we could see prevalence of G-clade, not only in the India, but in the rest of the part of the world also. The variant of concern and the variant under investigation, these terms coined in December mainly, when UK has started showing high transmissibility of alpha variant, and which transmitted not only in the UK and caused a huge number of the cases, but also in India and many other countries all over the world. And after that, people started thinking and they defined the terms. If a particular variant which has got mutation, and that mutation can affect the transmissibility or pathogenicity or their behavior toward the existing vaccine, then it will be called as a variant of concern. And under that, so far we have only 4 variants, and that is called alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. And we all know that the second wave in India was mainly because of the delta variant, which we could detect when the cases was surged in Maharashtra, and an IB Pune showed that the cases are increasing rapidly and that it was responsible. But we also could see that the same delta variant was spread all over the country in different states, which we are seeing a huge number of the data which coming up. So not only that, but the breakthrough cases which happened, that is also because of the delta variant. So because it is originated from delta, so we have to consider the property will be maybe more because of this additional mutation, but definitely we have to be cautious and alerted at this point of time.
Okay. Now, in some of the states, or some of the parts where this Delta Plus variant has been found, clusters have been seen. How worrying is that factor here, that we are seeing already in such few cases, clusters of cases of this particular variant?
So the similar kind of observation was there in the second wave also, where everybody complained that in the first wave, the whole family was not infected, but in the second wave, you could have observed the whole family was infected. So I think because it is the same virus delta plus one more addition, so the transmissibility will be definitely high. And if people are not following the social distancing and mask practices, we know that even though if you are vaccinated and you don't follow these practices, there is always chance to get vaccine to infected. So that's why we will see the same kind of behavior of the virus here as well.
Okay. Now, officially, of course, we've, there are about 40 cases that are known across 8 states in India. But given what we know about the Delta variant and the possible nature of the Delta Plus variant, is there any kind of assessment or anything that you would be working with in terms of trying to understand how much the spread could perhaps be? Because obviously, these are only those which have been tested, that we know that there are 40 cases of this variant. But how much more widespread will it be?
I think it will be cumulative efforts from all over the country through the InsaCop platform, and compiled data will only could speak about the spread and number of the cases which are being infected, and the early submission of and sharing of the data for each and every laboratory. Second, yes, we are already working. We have isolated this virus from clinical specimen, and we will definitely look at how this particular variant is going to show the neutralization capacity with existing vaccinees, sera, and the recovered cases. So we are working on that aspect. It will take, I guess, some more weeks to come back to everyone.
Okay, so at this point in time, while more data is coming in, what should ideally be the kind of protocol that should be followed, whether in terms of COVID appropriate behavior and also in terms of the fact that, you know, this is spread across several other countries as well. So when people from there, the UK or other countries come here, so even their samples being sent for genome sequencing, what ideally should be the protocol in place?
So, because everybody knows that after a second wave is slowly cases are decreasing now, and many places actually lockdown has been opened. So, as a human behavior, we start try to behave the same prior to pandemic, but we have to remember that pandemic is still there, though number of the cases is decreased. But if we do not behave well, it will again we will go in the similar kind of difficult situation. So it will be really highly appreciated if everybody make efforts for opting for the vaccination, for going for the vaccination, and following the social distancing, mask practices, because these are the only three things which can actually help us in getting rid of coming up to the third wave, which many people are saying that third wave is there, third wave is there. But actually, it is the virus is not a culprit, but actually we are the culprit. If we don't behave well, we are going to have some other kind of wave or increase in the cases. So the social gathering and such kind of events should be avoided. And as per the defined protocol of the state and government, we have to be cautious, and we have to follow each and every rule which is being described very profusely from last 1.5 years. And I think that will help in not going to again similar worse situation in which we are just recovering from the second wave.
Right. No, absolutely. But, you know, obviously the question on everybody's mind is with regard to vaccination and the, you know, effect of vaccines on these variants. So specifically with the Delta Plus variant, what are the chances, or what could be the likelihood that it may not be as, you know, the vaccines may not have as much of an effect on this variant as compared to other variants? You know, what are we dealing with here?
So as most of the vaccine has shown good efficacy in spite of reduction in their neutralization capacity. And recently the data of Covaxin is coming up for the phase 3, where it's showing a good efficacy. And the efficacy must be calculated during the second wave, considering the Delta variant all. So I think the existing vaccine should protect, because after taking 2 doses of vaccination, as it has worked for the Delta. So that maybe some reduction we can see little higher, but still for protection, the existing antibody given by the vaccine should work against this as well.
Right. And Dr. Pragya, one final question. What is it now that, you know, in terms of data collection for the Delta Plus variant, the information that is currently needed, if you could just sort of, you know, summarize for us, what are we looking for, and what is the kind of studies that need to be done to assess this variant, and to ensure that we don't get into a situation with the Delta variant like we saw in the second wave, to sort of stop that kind of a thing from happening?
I think we have to follow all the regulatory regulations which has been prescribed by state and government. At the same time, the laboratories and all, they have to make a continuous genomic surveillance in the country to not only the breakthrough cases but the COVID cases to monitor, because AY1, which is considered to be Delta Plus, now we are even seeing the deposition of AY2. So AY.2, so virus will keep mutating, and maybe after some time we see more mutation. In the Delta, even Delta variant has shown a lot of mutations in not only the spike gene but also ORF1 gene, and maybe we can see some more bifurcation with the time. But we have to always remember that our vaccines, social practices, and masks will definitely work for all kind of variant, whatever mutation happen. So if we remember these three things and we follow strict adherence to these, and of course everybody has to work on continuously on containment, isolation, treatment, and genomic surveillance. That will all together, I think, if we work, we are going to achieve the target of getting rid of this pandemic.
All right, Dr. Pragya, on that note, thank you so much for joining us and helping us understand all about the Delta Plus variant. I think you've answered a lot of important questions that were on all our minds. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr.